So I've had several people ask me. I've posted pictures online of how we do this mask, right? This Chewbacca mask, and all the pictures don't really do it justice because it'd be easier for me just to run through it real quick. So look, first of all, you make a live cast, all right? You see that right there? All right, that's me. That's my head. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into detail how to make a live cast because obviously the internet is loaded with tutorials on how to do this, all right? But if you've never done a live cast, I would highly suggest you do it because it's a great experience. Isn't that right, Fatima?
Oh, yes.
So how do we get from this to a Chewbacca mask? Okay, so we take this live cast and we take this box of clay here. What I'll do is I'll mold clay onto which is me. This is me, and I'll mold clay onto this bust right here, and I'll take reference pictures of Chewbacca, and I try to get his face as close as I can with the cowl and the bridge of the nose and everything, and I'll mold all that out of clay. And from that point, I'm sitting here smoking a cigarette. What we do is we make a mother mold of that. We take this, and this is basically just a polyester fill with fiberglass, and we would do it over the clay mold, which comes to this, and basically what you're going to get is you're going to get a mother mold. And once that cures, you bust your mother mold apart, you have two halves, right? Now, so this right here is what you call a negative mold. All right, so how do we get to the skull? And this right here this is what fits on my face. This thing is custom made to this bust, which is my head. And as you can see, we've added some little mechanisms in the jaw to make the lip move. All the teeth were made and everything by me, molded out of clay and then put into dental acrylics. So this is actually a skull, and it works just like the human anatomy does. First we have to get a skull, and then we have to get skin over the skull, right? So how do we get to this point from here? Well, what I'll do is I'll take this mother mold and I'll line it with clay, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and then I'll come in and I'll put the two together, and then I'll layer fiberglass all inside of here, all inside the mother mold. Then I'll bust it apart, and what's happened is, if you notice, this piece fits perfectly inside of here. So what happens, when I fiberglassed again and I bust the mold apart, I pull this out and clean all the clay off, I've got an underskull. And I'll come in and I'll trim the eyes and the nose out. And like I said, we've added some pretty neat mechanisms right here, which is the wire on the jaw, which that way when we move it, the lip will curl too. You can see my marks here on the jawbone because you want your jawbone to line up with your real jawbone. That way when I open my mouth, the mask opens its mouth. There's no animatronics involved in this. It's all just me doing it, right? And so you can look and see in the inside of the mask what we've done. We've added some foam, and you can see the wires that come from the jaw, and that's how when that bottom jaw opens, the mechanics of the lip curl. So we've molded the tongue, we've molded the teeth. So now we have to get a skin from this, and how do we do that? How do we get this right here, which is a silicone skin, basically? Well, we take this and we come back. We're going to put, before all this is cut out, we'll put it back in here, and we'll do an injection mold. Put your mold to get back together, put everything back in, pour your silicone in your negative space, bust it apart after 24 hours, and what you're going to get is you're going to get a silicone mold. And you'll see how that fits perfectly right in there, just like that, right? Okay? So when we take that out, now we have a silicone skin. And that skin, after it's painted, which is this right here, will fit perfectly over the skull. And then you'll come in and you'll attach it with some silicone to the skull, and you have your lip mechanism. So now, when you open the mouth and the jaw, what you're going to get is you're going to get this. Alright? So the problem that we run into first, this is like the third pour we've done. This was a Plat-Seal gel silicone. And the problem with it is the hardness, and you'll notice that the lips have torn. I've poured it too thick, so it doesn't give me the elasticity that I need. It's too hard to work with the skull. So we're trashing that, and I came in and I ordered what you call an FX Pro. This stuff has a little more elasticity to it, and I was hoping we would get more range of motion out of the jaw with this thing. Unfortunately, I have poured or brushed the silicone too thick once again, so it's not giving me the range of motion that I need. So now we're at the fourth pour. And what I'm going to do, instead of actually making an injection mold, I'm just going to use the negative mold in my front half of the mask, because that's all we're really making, right, is the front piece of the silicone. So I'm going to take this, and you can see right here I've actually added some more detail. I added some clay into the lip area, and I don't know if you can see it real good, but I've added some brush strokes to put some texture on the lips. So that way when we pour our last silicone, hopefully this one will work, cross your fingers, it's going to have some texture on the lips and around the nose and areas like that. So with that, we'll brush 2 layers in. We'll add what we call a fiber. It's a power mesh, and if you look real close right there, you can see the mesh inside of the silicone that we've done. And what that does, that keeps the corners of the mouth from tearing. It always is just stretchy fabric in the mask. So wish us luck. This will be the last pour, and when we get that on, I might do a few minor adjustments to the underskull. And you want to see what it looks like on my face real quick? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's that, man. So hopefully when you see all these chemicals that I'm posting online and stuff, really all it is the things that you see here, whether it's fiberglass or your EcoFlex or your silicones or your dental acrylics or your clay or even your liquid plastics, what we made the ammo boxes out of. So we're having a lot of fun with this, guys. It's been 13 months we've been working on this costume. And like I said, hopefully this is the very last silicone pour, and hopefully this time we'll get it right. So thanks for filming this, Fatima.